How's it hanging? It's Web Studios here. I'm Reed.
And I'm Jax.
And welcome back to another video.
So as you guys may know, we recently went to the Dallas Fan Expo.
The Dallas Fan Expo is a massive con. Not quite as big as Comic-Con or even Dragon Con, but it is still very large. There's a lot of celebrities and even more people. It's a hassle.
Because cons can be very overwhelming at times, we've decided to compile the top 10 tips for going to a Comic-Con.
Tip number 1 is having a schedule. So many people underestimate how helpful it is to have a schedule for Comic-Cons. You have no idea how many activities there are really going to be until you look at the website or even the app and look at all the events that they have. I mean, there's stuff like Sword Fighting 101, there's tons of panels, there's just stuff that you need to be aware of that you might be interested in so you know what you want to go to and what not. It also allows you to have a good plan for when you're going to eat, take breaks, shop, panels, everything. Having a schedule is one of the key factors in enjoying your experience without being so overwhelmed.
Tip number 2 is to wear a costume. Now I know many of you guys may be like, oh, it's gonna be so hard to wear a costume around for a long time. Do it.
Do it!
A con is one of the only places where you'll feel kind of weird not wearing a costume. There's going to be so many people wearing costumes and walking around in them that you guys might as well wear one. You're going to have a much better time when you're there if you're wearing a costume, and you're going to be able to meet other people that like the same things as you since they're going to see you wearing the costume.
Tip number 3 is bring a bag. While this might seem obvious, having a bag is one of the most useful things at a convention ever. Doesn't matter if you're bringing snacks, which we'll get into later. It doesn't matter if you're bringing extra clothes. Doesn't matter if you're bringing a costume. It doesn't even matter if you're buying stuff. You need a bag to hold all this stuff. Yeah, it might slightly take away from the look of your costume, but if you care that much, just find someone to carry it for you. Having a bag is so unbelievably helpful that it literally changes your entire experience. Doesn't even matter if it's some goofy Spider-Man bag that you've had since you were 3 years old. Having a bag seems obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people don't.
Tip number 4 is to bring a lightsaber. The amount of Star Wars nerds at these cons is absolutely crazy, and you're gonna need it if you want to defend yourself.
Tip number 5 is bring lots of money. You guys would be surprised how many things are gonna be there that you want. Be it a 6'2" Ryan Reynolds statue or a used tissue from Tom Holland, the amount of expensive things that are gonna be there is unbelievable. I'm not saying I've bought either of those things, but if I saw them, I can't say that I would resist. And that is several $100s that I might not have. So make sure that you guys are saving enough money. Now don't waste your money on a non-used tissue or any tissue. Just bring enough money. Save money to bring.
On a more serious note, tip number 5 is to have a budget. You guys are going to want to spend a lot of money, and you're going to spend a lot of money when you're at these cons. Although you may be inclined to buy statues and tissues like us, it's important to not go overboard and overspend. You could go broke just by going to one of these cons, so it's important to be careful with what you're spending. This is why we recommend having a budget. I'd say you have a set amount of money for the whole con, and then you divide it by day, so that way each day you have a set amount of money that you can spend. If you're only going one day, then just bring all of the money you have. But if you're going for multiple days, I'd say leave a little bit of extra flex cash, so that way if you're going to overspend on one day, it's not going to affect the next day's budget.
Tip number 7 is bring a change of clothes. Since you guys are obviously going to be wearing a costume, you definitely need a change of clothes. Either you rip it, or maybe you pee in it after a few too many blue milks from the Star Wars stand. It's possible that you're gonna need a change of clothes. Not to mention skin-tight outfits can get a little bit uncomfortable after a while. So I like to bring a change of clothes just in case one of those things happens to me, which it hasn't.
Tip number 8 may be the most important tip of all, behind bringing a backpack to store stuff in. It's to bring snacks and water. If you guys don't do this, you're gonna have to buy the snacks from the stands that they offer, which is a terrible idea. They are so expensive, and you have to wait in such long lines because nobody else brings enough food and water for a con, especially for the blue milk. I'd recommend bringing slightly more snacks than you think is necessary, since you're going to be walking around all day and you're going to probably get pretty hungry.
Tip number 9 is to bring a friend. Be it just one friend or an entire group, it's important to have someone there with you. Maybe you're having a costume issue and you need help repairing it. Maybe you need someone to carry your bags while you're taking pictures. Maybe you just want somebody to talk to the entire time. Having a buddy just makes the experience so much better. If you go to a con, you're already a nerd, and if you go to a con alone, you're also a loser. So you want to make sure that you have a friend, not just for your own enjoyment, but also so people don't think that you're a dork. Or more of a dork than you would be for just going to a con in the first place. I'm allowed to make these jokes because we're nerds. On a serious note, having a buddy is super helpful, it's super fun. Honestly, it is just one of the best experiences to go with for friends, especially if they're like one of your best friends, because you're going to be making a lot of great memories, and it's just a great way to spend a day or two.
Tip number 10 is to network. For those of you who didn't bring friends, or you just want to find other people that are interested in your hobbies, going to a con is a very good time to be able to network. This is where you can meet other people that are interested in the same things as you, and also could be interested in cosplay. For instance, we were able to meet somebody that was able to create custom 3D printed lenses for one of our suits. This was only possible because we talked to them and we networked with them at the con. Overall, I highly recommend talking to the people that you see at the con, especially if they're into the same things as you, say if they're wearing a Spider-Man suit or if they're holding a lightsaber.
Alright guys, we have a bonus tip. Tip number 11 is to bring a fully charged phone and maybe even an extra external battery. This is super important in case you need to make any emergency calls, you want to take plenty of videos or photos. Honestly, just having a phone there in the first place seems like an obvious thing. The issue is that you're going to be on it so much that it's really important that you have it fully charged and are prepared for it to die.
If any of you guys are planning on going to a con soon, leave a comment down below of any questions you guys might have about going to a con, about things you'd like to bring. We like to answer those, and we are glad to help you guys out with any of those questions. If you guys made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. Remember to check out our Patreon and our Instagram in the description below.
Do it! Also remember to like and subscribe, and remember, with great power comes great responsibility.